Okay, so we're going to talk math, business and finance math. We're going to talk about the possibly the most important type of math question that you're going to get on the business and finance exam. Now, if you're taking the building contractors or the general or the residential, you may also see it on the contract administration as well, but certainly on the business and finance. So this is for everybody that's taken a contractor's exam. Okay, it's called percentage of completion. This may or may not be how you do it in the real world, and I suspect it probably isn't. But there's one day of your life that you got to, try to do this the way they tell you to do it. And of
Yep.
course, that's the day that you pay. That's the day that you're taking the exam. And in the test question, somehow it's going to talk about percentage of completion. What percent complete are you? So on and so forth. And they're going to give you some information. They're going to give you what they call cost to date, okay, or cost so far, or current costs. But basically, we're talking about cost to date, what you've spent so far. That's very important. And then they're going to give you another figure. They're going to say estimated remaining cost to complete. What is that? Well, that's from right now forward what it's going to cost you to complete. So you're going to get cost to complete and estimated remaining cost to complete. Now, the main thing that I want to get across to you, and this is one of the hardest things for people to understand, is they're going to give you all types of information in this question. Okay, they're going to give you the cost to date, the estimated remaining cost to complete. They're also going to give you the contract amount. They might give you what you've been paid so far. They might give you what your truck payment is. They might throw all kind of stuff in there. But what you have to remember is you're only going to deal with costs at first. Okay, your most basic type of percentage of completion problem only deals with costs. So what I'd like for you to do is I don't want you to try to remember this formula because it isn't a natural formula to remember. What I like for you to do is I like for you to always go to your Builder's Guide to Accounting, all right, and go to page 24. At the bottom of page 24 on your Builder's Guide to Accounting, this is at the bottom right-hand column on page 24 of the Builder's Guide to Accounting. Make sure you're all the way on the bottom. You have a formula that says cost to date divided by the cost to date plus the estimated remaining costs of completion. That equals the percentage of completion. And that's what you're going to have to get. Some questions, you'll just have to get the percentage of completion and then you're done. And that's great. Sometimes it'll go a little bit further than that, but it always starts here and it's only costs. If you can get that in your brain that you're going to forget everything else in that question for now, and you're just going to deal with the cost to date and the estimated remaining cost to complete, then you're good. You're off and running. So let's look at that formula. So we've got our cost to date, what we spent so far. We're going to divide that divide that by our cost to date plus our estimated remaining cost to complete. So we have to add those two together first, all right, and get a number. And then we take our cost to date, what we spent so far, and we divided that by the total. Now that's, if you think about it, that's your total cost. Okay, that's your total cost on the job, what you spent so far plus what you plan to spend. All right, those are your total costs, and you're dividing that into what you spent so far. So think about it. You're going to have a smaller number, what you spent so far, divided by a larger number, your total costs, what you spent so far plus what you're going to spend. So when it is an unnatural thing to divide a smaller number by a larger number, but that's what you have to do. And you have to realize you're going to get a decimal. All right. It's going to be point whatever. Okay. 0.3004, whatever, 0.30, let's call it. If it's 0.30, then all you got to do to get the percentage is just move that decimal point over twice. 0.30 becomes 30%. and you're 30% complete. Remember to only do costs. Okay. Now, they can take it a step further. All right. And they can say, okay, well, they've also given you the contract amount. All right. Which is, obvious, it's pretty straightforward what they're talking about. This is what you bid the job at. Okay. So let's say you end up being 30% complete with the job. That's great. Now you can go to your contract amount and you can say, okay, I am due, or I have earned. They like to use that term, earned. I have earned 30% of what my contract is. All right. So it's what your contract amount is times 30, hit the percent key. Now, the tricky thing is about calculators. Sometimes when you hit the percent key, you get the answer. Other calculators, you hit the percent key, then you got to hit the equal sign. You got to figure out which kinds you have. All right. So there's two different kinds, and I don't know why they make two different calculators, because it makes it real complicated for us people that aren't not good in math. Okay.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Try to figure out which type of calculator you have, because to me, that's the easiest way to figure that out. If your contract is $150,000, it's $150,000 times 30, hit the percent key. Okay. Or you might have to hit the equal sign again, and depending on the type of calculator that you have. You might want to just try that out. If you hit, 150,000 times 30 and hit the percent key, what do you get? 150,000, let's say a third, that's going to be $50,000. If $50,000 came up, then that's great. If $50,000 didn't come up, then you got to hit the equal sign again. So let's try that again. And that wasn't $50,000. It was close to that, though, because that would have been 33%. It'd been about 30%. Let's see what I got here. Let me.
So
what do you got?
150,000 and just hit the
Times 30, times 30,
times 30.
hit the percent key. And what do you get?
30.
What do you get?
0.3.
0. Okay.
So
Now
I would
hit
have
the,
to move
hit the equal sign.
45,000.
That's it. That's so you, with your calculator, you got to hit the equal sign after you hit the percent sign. Okay. So it should have been 150,000 times 30, hit the percent key. For some people, the 45,000 would come up. For other people, they would have to hit the equal sign, and then 45,000 comes up. And think about it. 45,000 is about 30% of 150,000. I was thinking 50,000, but that would actually be 33.3%, a third, not 30%. So, so anyway, so we're talking a couple of concepts here. We're talking, percentage of completion. Now we've got, we figure our percent complete, then we apply it to our contract. All right, so let's do this. Let's pull up a practice exam, and let's do it. Let's do a practice exam. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop that recording here.